pretty much the standard, so it's not out of the range at all. I'm backing off on that thing because it's going to bite me, I can tell. Well, today is 6/24/24, the 24th of June, 2024. Happy birthday, John the Baptist. You're thinking, what? Yes, indeed, John the Baptist. And his father said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who has provided a way and a redeemer for us all." And of John's gospel, there was a man sent from God. His name was John. He did not come as the light became, but he came as a witness to the light that all might believe. So 6 months out from Christmas Eve, yep, still bearing witness today. I invite you to pray. Almighty and gracious Lord, in our time, the darkness deepens. Yet you have given us a good light that we may share. May we acknowledge your gifts, receive all things with thanksgiving, and serve you with an obedient heart. Bless our land with honest industry, truthful education, and an honorable way of life. Save us from addiction, violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil course of action. With your healing touch, restore those who are torn. Give courage to those who suffer. Help us that we who came from many nations with many different perspectives and voices may become a united people. Support us in defending liberty and give to those to whom we have entrusted governing authority the spirit of wisdom, that there may be order, justice, and peace in our land. When times are prosperous, may our hearts be thankful, and in lean times, do not let our trust in you fail. Guard and guide our Mayor Jose, our council, Chief Schmidt and Chief Troutman, and all who hold the public trust. Bless their decisions and work. Mend torn marriages. Heal fractured families. Safeguard each soul. And as you have promised freedom in your Son, so now provide guidance by your Holy Spirit. This I ask for our good and your glory. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Thomas, thank you.
God bless you.
And Harry, we got a couple things to do, but both Pastor Thomas and Harry, both you guys, I do want to talk to you about the traveling wall. We have a couple ceremonies that we'd like to see if both of you guys can participate in. So I'll give it to you. All right. With that said,
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much. And Santa, make sure I get my list covered.
Yes, sir.
All right. So can I get a roll call, please? Oh, wait. Our meeting starts at 6:03.
Here.
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 Here. I'll second.
Yes.
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes. Paula, will you make sure you turn those get real loud? I know I'm loud enough for that one. I just want to make sure after you touch them, because they're like, can we
Yeah,
turn the
they're all
volume down on this?
I'll have to have him do that.
All right, noise, because
Push them away.
Yeah,
I just think they're loud.
because
All right,
Brad doesn't speak loud.
so
Yeah.
Jeremy Kubek is our planning and zoning. I just want you all to keep him in his prayers. He has a son named James, who is in the hospital. Yeah, so we don't know how, he's a wonderful little young man. I think he's 12, 13, maybe even older than that. And he called me today, said he won't be here. So he was at the last planning and zoning meeting. If you did attend, you would know that the paintball facility actually got approved. It got approved to be developed in that property there that's just outside of the city limits. And Kenneth Snell, the gentleman I talked to him last week, told him congratulations. He's now working on that next phase, which is to be in the city of Shepherdsville. And we'll get with that information, we'll get that stuff to you the next few weeks. He's got everything he needs to get things developed. So he's got the planning and zoning, and he also has fiscal court that voted in favor of it. For us, it's an adjacent annexation. And I think it's important for you guys to know. We'll get more information as it comes up, and make sure you know what it is. If you've noticed, his facility was in Louisville on Stone Street. Obviously, it's a facility that did well for years, and now he brought it out here. So we'll know more about that. We'll keep you guys posted on that. But Jeremy couldn't be here, so we'll probably try to bring him back in the next meeting for any other updates. We're trying to keep him up with any other updates. Most of that centers in what we're doing in our city, but I always like him to make sure he lets you guys know what's going on in the county as well. All right, with that said, and I don't see Mr. Joe Fleming here, and I need to find out what happened there. All right, so I asked Mr. Perry Cook, I want to, before he gets up and introduce him, everybody knows who he is, but Perry and I have been talking a lot about veterans and homeless veterans, and we're talking about how we can be part of the solution. And when Perry and I talk, come on up here, Perry. You want to hit the button on and do all the fun things you got to do up there. Turn on. Can we do that? Can we? I don't know how.
I can't get it to work from here.
Yeah, she can't get it to work from there.
So I tell you what we'll do. One of the things we'll do, we'll get a presentation from him, and we'll try to get to as many people as possible. If we need to, we can always bring it back for that. But what I wanted you all to know is there are so many different factions of things we can do in the city that we can actually make an impression on. And I love, Perry and I were talking about it, about what we can do to help our veterans. We obviously know we're going to have the traveling wall here. We're obviously going to have a memorial. As you see, it's going to be in the town square area. But the reality on the streets is that we still have homeless that need obviously an opportunity. So Perry's worked a number of things in this community. I know he's want to make any impact on different things to do. So I'll just give it to you and let you go at it, buddy.
Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council and of Shepherdsville. Sorry that the snafu on the presentation, but Mark 12, our mission statement is we believe in meeting the needs by building relationships and sharing the gospel to break the spiritual, material, and social bonds of poverty. So it's not just the unhomed, but it's the idea that we want everyone to be a part of the prosperity that this county is experiencing. And so right now we have 4 major buckets: Pathway Home, the Outreach Thrift, Healing Together, and now Operation Restore. Operation Restore launched this year. Operation Restore is really 2 buckets. It is first veterans and their families support groups, and the second is our homeless veteran program. So the veterans, families, and support groups, we actually had our first support group out at Active Hero this past month on May 23rd, and we were able to connect with veterans who live here in Bullitt County that serve at the air base right up north at Louisville Airport. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 123rd Air National Guard unit. That's one of the most decorated Air Force units in all the Air Force. Not just National Guard, but in the entirety of the Air Force. They have the PJs there, which are Special Operations Pararescue. And they do a lot of close combat support for all of our deployed troops. And so we are working very closely with them to connect to the veterans that are in our community. Believe it or not, Bullitt County has 6% of our population are veterans. That's twice the national average. And so we have partnered with Active Hero and American Legion Post 157 to host these support groups. And again, these are for veterans and for their families. We've also partnered with Living Free, which is a ministry that provides good curriculum for these type of support groups. They have 48 different curriculum, everything from anger management to conflict resolution to parenting. And those are really great curriculum. We also are partnering with Wounded Warrior and Team RWB, which is Team Red, White, and Blue. Both of those are national veterans organizations that I've had the pleasure with volunteering with and also working with. Currently, right now, I am a warrior advocate leader with Wounded Warrior Project, where I go to DC and meet with our prestigious congressmen and women and senators and advocate on the behalf of veterans. And so we are having a lot of organizations that are specifically interested in engaging our veterans here in Bullitt County so that they don't have to go to Louisville, they don't have to go to Fort Knox to get resources and to get support groups. And I will tell you, as a veteran myself, being able to go out to Active Hero, to join around on that deck and really just chew the fat with other veterans and just kind of talk about life, and life is hard. It was a really great opportunity for us to begin that first step. Our hope is that when the support groups are in full force, we're going to have at least a weekly family group, and then we'll have at least a weekly veteran group. And we're hoping to, of course, span all the age group. I mean, we have a lot of Vietnam vets in Bullitt County, and that is the next generation of veterans, like our World War II veterans that are falling off faster than we can keep up with them. And so we want to make sure that we're engaging with them and coming alongside and loving them as they go through their journeys. And then next is the Homeless Veteran Program. The good news is USA Cares, which is the organization for the western part of Kentucky that got the Homeless Reintegration Program grant from the United States. They were familiar with our outcome-based program that we already do with our Room at the Inn folks, which is now Pathway Home. They saw the success that we had in graduation and recidivism. So our recidivism rate is one of the lowest rates of any program like ours in the state. And so we are entering into an agreement to help homeless veterans. And so they will be going through our program and be housed at Grace Village on its completion. But USA Cares is going to provide the monies for all their training, also with their direct hire status. So we've already come into agreement with HJI, Audit Kittens, and also Best Buy, where they don't have to go through the temp agencies. They get hired right in, and they get benefits and all that stuff day one. And then we're also partnering very closely with Volunteers of America and with the Department of Veterans Affairs. So both those organizations are very excited about the outreach that Mark 12 is doing in Bullitt County. Obviously, Department of Veterans Affairs, they're just overrun. I work very closely with their homeless outreach group. Last year, there's 575 homeless veterans in Louisville. They can't even keep up with the veterans in Louisville, let alone the 3 or 4 that we have in Bullitt County. And so they've partnered with me to be the direct contact to be able to offer those resources to those folks so that they don't have to go downtown. Because right now, a requirement for a homeless veteran on this side of the state, okay, so that is if you take a line from like northern Kentucky, Cincinnati through Frankfort down to the southern part of the state, if you're a homeless veteran and you want to get help from the VA, you have to go to Wayside. So I don't know if any of you guys are combat vets or that's just not a great place for someone who is already experiencing trauma and homelessness to go and have to be to get help. Because a lot of times these veterans don't necessarily have addiction problems, they have trauma problems where they have just continued to have a hard time reintegrating into civilian life. And so working with these 3 great organizations, USA Cares, Volunteers of America, and Department, it just really, I felt led by God that it put it on my heart that this needed to be addressed in our community where we just don't have the kind of services that you have at Fort Knox, Radcliffe, Hardin County, or in Jefferson County. And so again, we're really looking to be the model for rural communities throughout the entire state of Kentucky. So, any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
So, Harry, you said 6%?
6%.
Yeah, so we have 6%. Is there not, looking at, because of Fort Knox,
Yeah.
I would assume that would be a big factor in that.
Yeah.
Is there, you said services are at Radcliffe, but do they have satellite programs at Radcliffe, or is it actually in Fort Knox, or is it E-Town?
It's at Fort Knox, Radcliffe, and E-Town.
So they actually have a service in each of those cities?
So they have services in those cities. Most of those are through hiring Hiring Heroes and the other organization, we're actually emailing back and forth. It's the number 4 veterans. And those are, again, preferential hiring. So if a veteran is going for a government job, we have all that preferential hiring. The civilian land, battlefield does not look that way. And those organizations help translate military language and military experience into civilian experience so that these folks are able to get jobs and be able to articulate what it is that they did in the military.
I was also gonna say that I've got a meeting with EJ. I got that coming up in the next few weeks. So
Awesome.
I'm trying to time, because I know one of the things that you were working on, and I think Jeremy Willis was working on, the one-stop shop to try to get everybody to work together. I do think that's still the conceptual goal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know exactly where that goes, but I'll give you an example. Like today, we met with Options Unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay, a group that works with special needs more so than others, but they actually work, obviously, with some of the mental issues that some of these folks, they may go through their program.
Yeah.
They did a lot. They got like 300 folks that were actually through UPS.
Yeah.
And they're doing things like that. They've actually come to us to see if we can, there's a couple of individuals that may work out for us. We've got to figure out if that works. It's like part-time for us, so we can make it work
Yeah.
depending on what we need. And then especially with some of the other developments. But I do think that for you guys, what it got me thinking is that we do actually have something that we can, if we know that's, I don't know how to get those services together though.
Right.
And how that you have, the housing piece is obviously instrumental in that.
Yes.
Because obviously, I don't know how many of the ones that have these issues are homeless, right? If they have a drug addiction or a mental issue or both.
Yeah.
And if they're veterans, or do they have a home?
Right.
And again, that's, and you said they're small numbers, but numbers are, zero is the number, but.
Right.
It's hard to do that, but I think for you, I think what would appeal to me talking to you was, let's see what we can do together. We're here to communicate. The hardest part for the city is that we don't allocate. We can be your ambassadors. We can
Yeah.
do everything from a social standpoint. We can get out there in the media. We'll figure ways to actually keep doing this, because awareness is, you tell us if we can make these things work. We'll meet back up in another 30, 60 days, look at what you're doing, get EJ together, and then kind of tie a few, we'll just bring everybody here, see what we can do with it. I know
Yeah.
that was one of the goals for all of you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
we've been trying to.
I do think what you're trying to do, and sometimes it may feel like you're taking a bucket of water up the hill,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate what you're doing, and I think sometimes that's misunderstood, but I do think we have a lot of folks like yourself that are wanting to do good things, and we don't want to know any of that. So, but I thank you for today, and we'll get you back on, get that program going next time too.
Okay, thanks so much.
Very thank you.
Appreciate it.
We have a lot of good folks trying to do a lot of good things, and Perry is just one of those, and I'm really excited to see that we're doing that. Now we come to the fun part of the meeting. We have about, I believe we have about 10 things to read or something. Right. I didn't want to throw my joy, but it's all on Catherine.
They're not numbers, so.
That's right. All right, so if you look at your agenda 7.1.
Is that where we're at?
Yes.
We are second reading of 02421. It's in the repealing of chapter 92 of the ordinances related to animals in its entirety, okay? And I think that's been sponsored by Faith. You're reading the second reading on that, Ms. Catherine.
Summary of Ordinance 024021, an ordinance repealing Chapter 92 of the Shepherdsville Code of Ordinances related to animals in its entirety, sponsored by Councilmember Faith Portman. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that Chapter 92 of the Shepherdsville Code of Ordinances related to animals is repealed in its entirety. Section 2 sets forth a severability clause. Section 3 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 4 sets forth the publication requirement.
All right. I know that we've talked a little bit about that, and Faith is sponsoring it. We wanted to remove that piece. Were there any questions from anybody that would?
Got a question.
Yes, sir, Mike.
Since this removes anything the city has in regards to this, are we then just falling back on what the county is?
Yes.
County has theirs.
Yes, and in fact, a lot of what was in this, unless we have our own animal control officer, we couldn't even enforce. The
Okay.
law had changed from when this was enacted. So, yes, we're going to be relying upon the county to enforce the vaccination. And there's also state laws as
Yeah.
well, Mike,
Okay.
that deal with vaccination and tags and licenses and all that. So we're going to be relying on that.
Well,
That's
I think
all.
it's at least the awareness that we're just trying to stop something. Any other questions? All right. Ms. Brenda? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Smollett,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Yes.
thank you all.
So Council 7.2, we didn't have actually the first reading of that summary. The one we're actually putting in place will be actually on next meeting, July 8th, we'll have the first reading, is that correct?
I believe so. I know it was tabled last meeting,
Right.
because, per Brad's request, and I didn't know where we stood, so it's not on the agenda for this meeting.
But what we, within
But
our,
I anticipate it being on the next meeting's agenda, for the first reading.
are we okay with that? Yeah, we'll get it done in July.
That's what Brad, I thought, yeah.
All right.
This was on 7.2.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We'll have the
So we
first
didn't
reading
have the
July
first
8th.
reading.
And the second reading will be 22nd. As long as I'm figuring it out, it's all Kevin's fault.
Yeah. And it's a pretty short ordinance. It basically prohibits pet stores from selling cats, dogs, puppies, kittens, and it prevents really the sale of animals in public places by any person. Obviously, you can still sell out of your home, but that's essentially what it'll be, just to give you guys a heads up. And you should have a copy of it, but if I need to resend it for you all to look at it, I can.
Even though we're continuing to table this till the next meeting.
Yes, I was just letting you all
Okay.
know what it would say.
We ask questions about this now?
If you want to, sure.
Okay, my question, and as I read it, it stated that it was prohibiting sale of these puppies and kittens at like the flea markets, various places, okay? And even if I wanted to sell puppies and kittens, and CVS said I could do it, I can't do it at their property.
Correct. You could sell it out of your home.
That's the thing, if I have litters or whatever, or acquire, and I wanna stand in my front yard and sell them, I can do that.
You can stand in your front yard. You cannot stand on your sidewalk. Sidewalk is public property, but you can
Right.
stand in your front yard.
Well, I'd never do that, I'd never encroach on public property, you know that.
But yes, you can, this was really intended to,
Right,
kind of cut down on just, people selling at,
Okay.
necessarily the flea market or just randomly, setting up somewhere. But you can still sell, you can still advertise on Facebook, sell out of your private home.
Yeah.
This does not intrude on this, and this will be enforced, because Brad asked this, so I'll just go ahead and answer. This will be enforced under our code enforcement.
okay,
It's a civil, it's not criminal, so the police will not be, involved unless they see some criminal activity going on
Right.
that gets them involved somehow that's tangentially related.
And the main thing was, Mike, I received several phone calls
Yeah.
of people that went to, I'll say at the flea market, and they were selling dogs and there was no water, they were in the direct sunlight, and you can't do that. It's just cruel.
And I think they were also claiming they were selling miniature pigs.
They
and
were.
They weren't quite miniature, and so.
Yeah, they were
that's what
claiming
this is
to be
for.
miniature, but they weren't. Yeah, that's right, I forgot about that one.
So you all should have a copy, but if you don't and you want me to send it to you, just let me know and I can send it to you to review. But yeah, we'll have the first official reading at the next meeting.
All right, next on our agenda is our first municipal order of this meeting. Municipal order 24-006. And this is for the sale of property. This is for you, Chief. This was about, go ahead.
Municipal order number 24006, City of Shepherdsville, a municipal order of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, making the written determination required by KRS 82.083 for the sale or other disposition of property owned by the city. Whereas the City of Shepherdsville now owns property that is no longer useful or beneficial to the city, and whereas KRS 82.083 establishes certain requirements for the disposition of such property, now therefore it is hereby determined and ordered by the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, written determinations. Pursuant to the requirements of KRS 82.083 for the sale or other disposition of property owned by the city, it is hereby determined that the property described herein is no longer needed or beneficial to the city and shall be disposed of as set forth in KRS 82.083-4. Section 2, description of property. The subject property to be disposed of is the following: Unit 86, 2017 Ford Utility Police Interceptor, VIN 1FM 5K8AR 4HGA 80946. Section 3, intended use of property at time of acquisition. The property was to be used by the City of Shepherdsville Police Department. Section 4, reasons why it is in the public interest to dispose of the property. Due to mileage and wear and tear, the police department no longer uses this vehicle. Section 5, method of disposition. The property will be transferred to the Shelby County Coroner's Office without compensation pursuant to KRS 82.083, subsections 4A. Section 6, the provisions of this municipal order are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this municipal order shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this municipal order. Section 7, all prior municipal orders or parts of any prior municipal order in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 8, this municipal order shall be in full force and effect upon adoption on this 24th day of June 2024.
All right.
Motion.
All right, motion.
Second. Whoa,
Is that Paul or?
Paula could have it.
And Chief, I appreciate you doing that. I know we talked about that before. If it's not any use to us, but there may be somebody that'll take it. All right.
Faith?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next municipal order is 24-007 concerning relating to opening of bids, as we discussed in our last meeting.
Municipal order number 24007, City of Shepherdsville. A municipal order of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, repealing municipal order 2018-02 related to the opening of bids. Whereas the City Council desires to repeal municipal order 2018-02 related to the opening of bids. Now therefore, it is hereby determined and ordered by the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, municipal order 2018-02 enacted on October 22nd, 2018, requiring that all bids received by the City of Shepherdsville be opened at a City Council meeting by the City Attorney or the City Clerk is hereby repealed in its entirety. Section 2, the provisions of this municipal order are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this municipal order shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this municipal order. Section 3, all prior municipal orders or parts of any prior municipal order in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 4, this municipal order shall be in full force and effect upon the adoption on this 24th day of June 2024.
All right.
Motion.
All right. Well, look at Bonnie's on fire.
I have a question though, real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Now, this is only for like the big
General con-
bids.
Yeah, it's the managing contract when we do something at that level.
Okay,
Everything else is still
okay,
the same.
so all
for-
the others
yeah.
we still do.
Well, actually, this one only repeals your 2018 that said, basically what I just
Okay.
read, that it had to be open. We're gonna repeal that.
And then
Then
vote.
the next
Okay.
one is going to address that, and if we need to tweak some language on that, we can, but yeah, this one just simply repeals it because we need to repeal
Okay.
that one before we
Right,
Put
I
the
forgot
new
about
put the
that.
new one in, otherwise it gets weird.
Thank you.
All right,
Paula?
so we-
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike, you got something? Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't feel good about this, not because I don't trust Hagerman. I think the individuals, the companies that are involved in this, I attended the special meeting where this happened as others did. And I think they did a very fine job. And by the time it was over, a certain amount of information could have been obtained at that time. I don't know the gentleman's last name. It was Mike, somebody with Hagerman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Said probably within the hour or two, the information that we got on our spreadsheets could be available. Now, I know they analyzed it more in the following week, and that's good. And I've talked to Scott Fleming about that and Arthur, and I think it was good. However, my personal feelings, we as a council are responsible for either creating new taxes, which is spending the people's money, increasing existing taxes, which is spending the people's money, and approving projects, which is spending the people's money. And I think, my personal opinion, is that anything we do that spends taxpayer dollars should be accessible to the public. And as I read this, if this were in effect when the first meeting took place, these bids, correct me if I'm wrong, would have just been delivered to Hagerman's offices?
No.
No, we
That-
still do the.
That, what they did
That doesn't
last
change.
week, that would have still occurred. That is their normal process. The way that,
But is it
And it-
here?
Yes,
yes.
Or
it's here.
then maybe I misread something in there because it said something about their normal course of business.
Well, so those companies, obviously, so for the two of you all that were not able to attend, and I know I sent an email, but the way that they had this set up, it would have normally been in here, but they had, the architect was there, two people from them. You had Scott, the mayor, Arthur, then you had Mike from Hagerman, I forget his last name off the top of my head. He then had a guy next to him that literally was opening up the bids, organizing them, and letting them know, because there was 20 sections that people could have bid on. Most only bid on one, but some did one or two, then some did these weird compilations, so combinations, so he was opening them up, organizing, so that it was a smooth process. Mike was reading the numbers, and there was two separate people writing down the numbers. One, literally, it was a huge spreadsheet. One literally writing it, and the other one typing it in. And that was so that they have a lot of checks and balances, right? They want to make sure that they've got these numbers right.
Professional.
They want to make sure that they're read correctly. And so that's what I say by their normal is if they want to have 4 people writing the numbers, then that's what they'll have. We're not going to tell them that they can't. That's what I meant. That's what that means. It will be here, or if it is at Hagerman, it will always be open to the public. In fact, the reason why it has to be, what I learned, the reason why it's during normal business hours is because, as you saw, a lot of those subcontractors that submit bids want to attend. They want to hear the numbers as they're opened. So it will still be open, absolutely, to the public. Anybody that wants to come
And all of
can
you.
come.
I'll-
And yes,
And so
you-
the biggest thing, the argument she was making with this is to make sure, is if we make it a quorum, that would delay the process. That was the only reason why this is even in play. It was to make sure that you understand at this level, because two things, don't disagree with what you said, Mike. We are talking about something totally out of our expertise. And if we're talking about this kind of millions of dollars, we want the right people doing it, because I don't want, and I'm not being offensive to any of you or myself, this is not in our purview. So it's important if we have the right people doing it. So that's why the contract for the management contractor comes into play. They take care of all that. We voted for the 30 million, and then these people take it from that and make sure they develop what we've asked them to within the reasonable, as far as the budgetary process, for the 30 million. What Catherine was getting at is, let's say we force that quorum. If we force that quorum and we didn't have enough, then it goes until when they can do it again. It just keeps delaying it. Remember, delaying it is costing money.
And what I was concerned about is I know that, you know, 2 people on council work. It might be difficult for them to be here at 2 or 3 in the afternoon to open these, which means that the other 4 of you all have to be here when it's time to open, no matter what. I mean, so what happens if you get into an accident? You know, so the way their system is, if Mike had the guy next to him that got into an accident, he'd just put another guy in there opening the bids. It wouldn't matter. He'd have somebody else on backup. If we make it a quorum, there is no backup for you all. That was my concern. Now, Mike, what I did do on the second one is, if we don't have a management company, so let's say on the few bids, like
Right.
when we did the grass cutting, that would still be opened at a city council meeting. And that way you always know who is opening and reading the bid. So you know if you've got a management company, whether it's Hagerman or ABC Construction, that's the general, you will know, okay, who's gonna be in charge of opening these bids, and you will know when that will be, because they will absolutely have a set date and time, because they have to let all their subs know.
And they gave you all that in
So-
detail. And they made it access to everybody out there. They gave everybody forms that they wanted to fill out what was going on. So everybody got to see it. I think the biggest thing is, again, trying to keep a process moving along.
And we very well may record those. We didn't record that one because it wasn't here, but if it's here, it very well may be, you know,
I think that would be good. for people
recorded,
to
just
be able to
because
watch
if we've got the,
it. Jennifer wants to watch it later that afternoon, if she had to
Sure.
work, it would be
Yeah.
accessible for her.
I mean,
and it wouldn't be bad because, you know, that way if somebody were to ever come back and say, oh no, Mike read this number, or whoever was reading it read this number, we would have the video. And Tanya raised a good question of would we need this for the audit? I don't know, but if we ever did, we would have it. So if we're gonna have it here, it just wasn't that because we had, the construction. So, I do understand, your concern,
Right.
but interjecting me, I would have been an extra person, cause I would have literally been open them. Then I would have been handed to the guy next to him, cause I would not have known how to, as you can see, even Mike was like, well, I'm not for sure if this number
Yeah.
included this, and
Yeah.
that's what he does for a living, he reads the numbers, and so it just, to me, it interjects an extra step and an extra concern of making sure that, if you all agree on a date and time, that you have to be here, and I just worry that there might be occasions where we couldn't have a quorum and it would delay that. But absolutely, you all would get those numbers.
Even without a quorum, because in the ordinance, it stated that all bids advertised and obtained for the project shall be opened by the general contractor, contracting management company, in accordance with said company's policies and procedures, which led me to believe that whatever they use normally, and they may use the same procedure for a private company versus a government. And
I'm sure they use different ones
Well,
because the
right.
government has different
And I
standards.
just wanna make sure, even if we're gonna have, advertise a special meeting, public meeting here, recorded so that the public can see and ask questions,
Over that.
okay?
Well, we could certainly,
The fact that, that it's done here, the procedure, I had no problem with the procedure they followed at all.
so Mike,
But
we
it's a
can
matter
add
of, do
in,
they do it here? Do they do it downtown at 11 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's
That
done
could be
here.
their normal
okay,
procedure.
so we, I understand what you're saying. I was thinking more in accordance with their normal procedure being the nuts and bolts of
Yeah, but all the bids come here.
how they open.
Yeah.
So
They can go anywhere else.
we can absolutely, on the next one, state that the bids will be opened at City Hall,
All right,
and that the bid opening, will be recorded, unless there's, equipment difficulties, because we can't hold up the opening of the bids just because we might have a technical difficulty.
because after that, we're gonna get a copy of the spreadsheets and stuff.
Yeah,
just
you get
like
all
they
that, and
continue
so
to
does the
put together,
public.
which
I
was-
saw Tom
Yes.
writing all down.
I mean,
was
all
very
of that is
informative.
public information.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you all
Scott
have
just sent me a
access to it.
message and said that all the bids would be open here.
Okay,
So we can put that, if that makes you feel
Please do.
better, we can
Yeah.
absolutely,
My
but,
problem is the time frames. We were given no time. Number one, we were told that, according to the newspaper, bids were closed on the 31st. Then all of a sudden, they were extended, and then all of a sudden, it's, you all have to decide on this, we have to do this. I don't like the quick, we have to do this quick, or it's.
well,
not-
so by doing it this way,
That won't happen.
that won't happen because, okay, so let's say they set the bid openings for a certain date and time, and then all the people that said, okay, we want to bid on this, say, whoa, we need more time like this, they can change that, and it doesn't
We should
affect
have
you
been
guys.
notified that that's what was going on. Nobody said anything that the bids were being extended. I don't
Okay.
remember anything being sent to me saying bids were being extended.
To double check things, kind
Okay, well, we'll make sure that, but I guess my point being is that it won't
When
affect,
did we notify them? When
you
did
guys
we
in terms of
notify
having
them?
to
Actually,
be
about a
here.
week.
is what I was
Yeah, it's
trying
about a
to
week.
alleviate, is
Whatever they
you
say,
guys,
they need it.
Well, just the part of that on the moving it, postponing it from the 31st, or moving it up, was we had a lot of local vendors that said there's no way they can do it in that kind of time. So out of being courteous to the local vendors, we moved it. Okay, now I know we gave you about a week notice, and maybe that's not enough, but I think more importantly, we just want to make sure people know that that's the only reason why we even moved it, is because of the request from a lot of local, because it's pretty extensive to do this. It wasn't, and a lot of these small operations don't have the manpower to do all this stuff. They probably had to get somebody professional to help them put it together. I mean, it's really a lot of work to put that, as you well saw if you were here for that meeting. So I think the biggest thing is, Mike, good points, we'll do that. We're gonna actually put in this thing, we'll make sure that it's, obviously they're gonna be here, and we'll record it.
and
We got it that way, also. We got
With-
it on June 5th.
And
We had the meeting,
Next week.
or that same week, wasn't it?
the 13th.
Okay,
13th,
the
so-
very next week.
So it's 8
Yeah.
days, yeah, 8 days.
So the other thing for you all to think about is, this is a municipal order, it's one reading, and so if we repeal and then we do this, and you all feel like you need to change it, you can change it. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, this is the last thing you can do on it, and this is
Right.
the end-all be-all. So if you do this and we go through several projects and you feel like there's been a few hiccups or you want to tweak it, or you're not, we can do that. We can absolutely do that. So I was just trying, I thought it would simplify, because me personally, I think if I had been up there opening these bids, it just,
Well, we kept looking at each other going, wow, remember?
I mean, I certainly couldn't have read the numbers, but the way it's reading, all I have to technically do is open them. I don't even have to read them, I would have been passing them. I just feel like that causes an extra layer and an extra step. I'm just gonna be honest, my opinion is just, I understand your concern, Mike, but it's just not, at that level, it's not needed. Because I promise you, Hagerman wants to get these numbers right, and they want to be as transparent as you all, because this is their professional reputation. I mean, this is how they all make a true livelihood. So they want to be as professional and transparent, and as, with both public and with you all, because that's their livelihood.
Yeah, because like I said, I had nothing against, no concern about any of the contractors or Hageman handling this. It was simply, it's not the people, it was the process. And that was the whole thing, so.
Okay, well, so where are we at on 07? Do we have a motion and a second?
We do, we do.
Okay, are we right?
Are you?
This is just, 07 is just to repeal?
Right, I know, but it's a municipal order. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just
all-
repealing
yeah,
the prior
yeah,
municipal
yeah.
order, and then the next one, we can talk about tweaking that language.
And approving it at,
We're gonna do that
Say the
next.
next
We're
one.
gonna
Next.
repeal, and then we're gonna read the next one.
good. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Brenda?
Bonnie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer.
No.
You didn't call that Paula.
Yeah, that-
Paula. No, she was first. She said yes first.
Yeah, Paula, right.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's-
just before Mike started.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. this freaked
All right,
me out.
so the next one. This is the one, Mike, that we're talking about. So I'll read it, and then if we want to add language, we can. Municipal order number 24008, City of Shepherdsville, and municipal order of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, related to the opening and reading of bids. Whereas the city council desires to set forth procedures for the opening and reading of bids, now therefore it is hereby determined and ordered by the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, when the City of Shepherdsville has entered into a contract with a general contracting / construction management company for a project, all bids advertised and obtained for that project shall be opened by the general contracting / construction management company in accordance with said company's policies and procedures for opening and reading bids. Section 2, all other bids shall be opened and read at a city council meeting by the city attorney or the city clerk. Section 3, the provisions of this municipal order are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this municipal order shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this municipal order. Section 4, all prior municipal orders or parts of any prior municipal order in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 5, this municipal order shall be in full force and effect upon adoption on this 24th day of June 2024. So Mike, you were talking about maybe in section 1, adding that the opening and reading of the bids shall occur at City Hall
And be recorded.
and shall be recorded, unless there are technical difficulties. How about that? We need to make that exception, because we can't stop the bid reading. Are you?
I'm sure we don't have any, Brenda.
Yes, they-
So, we want to put,
She tried, I'll tell you what.
you just want to see what we want to put.
I'm just gonna put it at the end of the sentence, so, all opening and reading of bids shall take place at Shepherdsville City Hall and shall be recorded. The only exception to recording. Okay, so here's how I've revised section 1. So I'm gonna read it entirely. Section 1, when the city of Shepherdsville has entered into a contract with a general contracting construction management company for a project, all bids advertised and obtained for that project shall be opened by the general contracting / construction management company in accordance with said company's policies and procedures for opening and reading bids. All opening and readings of bids shall take place at Shepherdsville City Hall and shall be recorded. The only exception to recording shall be the occurrence of technical difficulties.
You good with that?
Fine.
Second.
So,
No, do you have anything else?
were we tabling this till those corrections
No,
were
we,
put
No.
in?
since it's our first reading, I think we
No,
don't
it's a
have to.
municipal order,
We can-
and
Okay,
we
I
don't
know.
even, municipal orders, we can, yes, I'll write
Takes
it in, I'll
effect
type it
tonight.
up.
Yeah,
Huh?
takes effect tonight.
Yes.
That's right.
So that's how it's written in, and I'll type it up, and that's how it'll be.
That way, again, watching the process of it being there, it was open to the public, open to the council. So I think it's important that we send the right message to these folks. At the same time, it just clarifies it in case somebody does try to have it somewhere else. But
Yes.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Even without a municipal order, just for clarity, any bid, any project that we do that expends public money has to be, those bids have to be open in public regardless.
Right.
Okay. I want people to understand that.
I know.
Because,
Right.
you know, a lot of stuff got lost in the conversation, but even without a
Oh,
municipal order, they
That is
have
a
to be open
KRS
in public.
statute. That is a
Yes.
KRS statute.
Yeah.
That has not changed. That's correct. So are we,
Where are we at?
we got our motion, you got to see,
got a motion.
Ms. Brenda?
Brad,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, based on the changes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes, based on the changes.
Paula,
Yes. I had
I
to
write
limit
the
it.
changes.
That's right.
No, need some more. All right. Thank you, council.
Who seconded that?
Me.
All right.
and when it's all signed, I'll send it to you,
Okay. Thank you.
when it's all changed.
All right, we have a resolution, 2024-010, resolution
You don't have to.
facility as far as government resources, and grant fund money.
City of Shepherdsville Resolution 2024-010, a resolution of the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, authorizing the completion and filing of a government resources accelerating needed transformation, quote, called grant program of 2024 project application for up to $3,277,860 in grant program of 2024 funds with the Cabinet for Economic Development. Whereas the City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, hereinafter city, desires to promote and carry out community development efforts on behalf of the residents of Shepherdsville by supporting the grant program of 2024 project. And whereas the city is submitting or has submitted an application for the U.S. Economic Development Administration's Disaster Supplemental Program with the intent to access federal grant resources that are in the public interest and for a public purpose, and may seek funding assistance in preparing and/or completing applications for federal resources, and whereas the city recognizes that the grant program of 2024 money is available to the city for the purposes stated herein pursuant to KRS 147A 150 to 147A.166, impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the city and will require, among other things, 1, approval of a satisfactory application submitted to the Cabinet for Economic Development, hereinafter CED, for approval, 2, proper registration to do business within the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and 3, other obligations of the city in connection with receiving the grant program of 2024 monies for the purposes stated herein. Now therefore, be it resolved this 24th day of June 2024 by the City Council as follows. 1, that a grant program of 2024 application on behalf of the city for grant program of 2024 monies up to $3,277,860 for the Shepherdsville wastewater treatment plant improvements and hydraulic expansion project, hereinafter project, shall be submitted to the CED. 2, that the mayor of the city of Shepherdsville is hereby designated to be the city's authorized representative for this project and is hereby directed and empowered by the city to furnish and execute any documents which are deemed necessary by CED to carry out this project and to otherwise act on behalf of the city to effect such grant award. 3, that this resolution shall become effective upon passage and approval.
All right, first of all, everybody understand what this is. This is grant money that we're actually applying for the wastewater treatment. This is grant money. In a lot of these cases, they ask us to furnish money to match. A lot of grants that are throughout the state, the cities have to have the money to match it. We're in a great position, we can do that, we can actually do that in the sewer pipe. That's where a lot of these grant monies come into, is if you want extra, and it's up to $3.7 million plus. So, we're obviously looking for our wastewater treatment expansion. We've got things already out there. You know, the low interest loan that we have, there's actually $6 million worth of grant money that's out there for us. So, you know, obviously every bit more, because if we do get the project on Blue Lake, that would be from Buckman all the way back to Chili Coop. Now, if that doesn't happen, our commitment is that we're gonna go at least between the schools, right from Buckman to the schools, and run the drainage through the schools to 44. Now, we're hoping that we get the grant money that we'd like. We're just in line like everybody else is for grant money, okay? So we don't know what the guarantee is on that, but as we have applied for it, that's what this is saying, that we are participating in this grant fund money. That's what this is about. So I wanna make sure that you guys understand that.
So when would we know whether we get the grant?
Well,
Because
there are
it's a project.
24 grants. I don't know exactly when the notification comes on that, Faith, but I would think before the year's out, we'll be notified of some designation of
hope
this
so.
money.
This
Yeah, we're
project-
halfway through the year. I don't know where that process
This
is.
project needs to get done, yeah.
Well, depending on what they actually give us to what we can do, this is that's drainage issue. I was just trying to give you guys an understanding of the things that we're doing. And part of that is, you know, when we talk about some of these drainage problems, that's a problem for the sewer department. If you don't know enough about it, when that water flows into the sewer, that's not a good thing, okay? That's work that's being done with water that's already fine. And that just keeps generating a cost to us. So we're trying to find ways to get that water where it needs to get, not into our sewer system. So that's why our wastewater treatment, and Scott, what he's doing is, he's always looking at avenues to fix that, because I can tell you, it's one of the two top things that scares him, drainage water going into the sewer lines, okay? So that's why we always try to apply for all the money we can, and I want you to know that. And we are in a very good position because of some of the things we're doing, the relationships we have with the state now, between the KYTC and KIPTA, it's all based on what Arthur and Scott, and even I'll give Keith briefly a bone there. He's actually been the three folks that they've actually worked to get some of these grant money. We're out here really asking for it all the time. So I just want to commend those guys. It's a lot of work to do this stuff.
So, shoot, I forgot what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
It was
This part of BRH.
something important too.
I make approval to,
So this one is 3.2.
Up to.
That's what I was gonna say.
So it could be less.
Yeah,
It could get
yeah, so
less.
we're just in line. We're
And
just in
we-
line. It tells you what you can get up to. That's not guaranteed what you're gonna get. It's just a matter of we wanna
Right.
get in line, and when that ration comes
Right.
out, hopefully
You
we
get
got
our
some money.
part, yeah.
Absolutely.
So my question is, we don't put the money up unless we get the grant,
That's
correct?
correct. But we just
Okay.
have, we have
I just
to,
want
we
the
actually have
public
to
know
show,
that.
no, we actually have to show anytime that you've got grant, if you go for.
That you have it, yeah,
We got
I get
our
that.
accounts, we get Tanya, we send it to them, they see it, and we're thumbs up on that.
All right, I'll make a motion to,
Oh, Paula did.
oh, did you
Second.
second?
All right?
All right. Mike,
Yes,
Bonnie,
yes,
Paula,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes,
Jennifer.
yes.
All right, thank you, council, I appreciate that. All right, next on this is our interlocal agreement, published before every fiscal year. And we say we're gonna work with the county. All right, and some things work really well for us. Obviously, some of the things that we're gonna continue to work on is we supply the materials, they supply the manpower to help us with roads. The interlocal agreement, when we actually had the Stout building, they actually took the building down for no cost to us, but they used the materials. So that first back building, that was closer to the shopping center, the county public works took, that was a road, road. Robert Watkins and his group came down, knocked that thing out like that. So those are great relationships we have, and we've obviously, if you remember, guys, we also did the interlocal agreement as far as the corridor overlay. So we do try to partner up with them. We're gonna meet with them on Friday with the county and talk about what's gonna move forward in fiscal year, and hopefully we get some good things worked out.
I know they've done a lot of work in Hillview and Mount Washington and LJ. So, yeah, they work with all the cities, and it's really good.
Yeah.
You know, county and cities need to work together, so
That's it.
I think it's a great thing.
So I wanted to do that, but anyway, with that said,
yo,
Yo,
oh, come on, Mike, come on, what you got?
somebody's gotta ask questions.
Go right ahead.
I just noticed that, why would we be reapproving or approving this, halfway through the existing? I mean, this don't expire for another
till
2.5 years.
26.
But if you look at it, we're actually supposed to be actually doing it every year.
Oh, okay.
We're supposed to do it every year. That's the agreement we do with them.
So where it says it
24,
doesn't
it should
expire until December 31st, 2026, that was,
I saw that on there, but I've been told that we're supposed to do it every year. Or in a local agreement.
And I think we are. I
Yeah,
think we're supposed to
every
include
year.
it every year.
So we can make sure on that, can you look at that?
Is that the,
well, is this what the county approved?
I think this is what we approved.
You know what this is? It's a very good point.
I think that's what it is.
But I don't know that, we're still supposed to do it annually. So the reason why I saw the effective date here, that we were just doing that, but it terminates this. But I don't know why, when I saw that in there, I'm not sure I thought the same thing you did, Jennifer, but
Yeah. But they're.
that's what they said to us. You didn't like that, did it? That's from,
No,
that's from
I'd
Candy.
say let's just go ahead and do it, you know.
No, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Since we have a date here, then we'll obligate it to that. And I'll actually mention that to him, because I mean,
Okay.
from the day I saw him,
It might just be extending it because it's only 6 months. Or no, it might be 2 years. It's 2 years, 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
it's usually good.
You got 2.5 years going on there. 24 to 26.
Maybe somebody wrote the wrong date in too,
That's not a year and a half. That's 2026.
because they have an adoption date here.
It's in, yeah. It's in,
I wonder if somebody wrote the wrong dates in,
Tell you what
because
we'll
the
do.
adoption date's on the back, so,
Because it's an annual thing that you do.
yeah.
All right, let me see something. That's fine. No worries.
Yeah, I mean, if he's gonna meet with them, we need to get it done.
I am not sure if they've, let's look at the KR statute real quick. Oh. Oh. Right. So the interlocal agreement on this is just for the road. Read the first part, read the top of
It's
it.
only for the
It's
road.
only for the road, which is fine. So this is our interlocal agreement just on the road parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have the corridor, we've had other things that we actually do with it. That's the road, that's fine. But there is an agreement, and I'm just gonna look up something real quick here, hang on a minute. Yep. Yeah, I think that the fact that we actually have that date is, he's actually, yeah, that is right, Jennifer. That he's extended it, that is separate, that's our road agreement piece. That we, because every agreement are different factions we use, but that's the road piece. So I'm good with that, if the council's good with it, I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't go any further than my term or Jerry's term.
I'm good with it.
You good with
Yeah.
that? Mike, you good with that?
They do a great job.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that piece, I just wanna make sure.
That's what I said, if they're gonna.
No, I
have
think
us,
you're right on that.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Paula, you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Bonnie, everything okay? Brad? All right, we good there? All right, with that said, that's the resolution with our interlocal agreement on the road piece,
Okay.
till, December 31st of 2026.
Okay.
Apologize for the confusion. That's as
All
much on
right.
me as, anybody else.
It's all good.
All right. So, motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, you
All
too
right.
tired.
you two really tough it out, don't you?
Well, give this one to me, she's done them all.
Okay,
She can second. How's that?
All right.
okay, Faith and Paula. Bonnie,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes?
Paula.
Yes.
Nice, so
You got a rubber stamp you wanna make for
Right.
those?
Paula's on it today, her and
All right.
Bonnie.
So we're now at the first reading for the summary. No, I'm sorry, let's make sure we're because we had these two switched. Did you get, I don't have a new one.
You want to switch to 8.7?
No, we're doing 024-023. Okay.
You said me 2-2, we already had it, I had to change it to 2-4.
No.
So you're backing up with it?
Yeah, we never read the 2-2.
So that's right, all right. So guys, what you're gonna do here, because I did not know that, because I got it, and I'm looking.
Yeah, we never, the 2-2 was about the sale of animals, which we never did.
So by switching it, she designated
Okay,
the,
she went back.
No, I'm not gonna hold it.
She went back.
no, but that's.
So the
she's in
2-4 is
there.
2-2.
So she's in there, we're both thinking the same thing. All right, so what she is still gonna designate, if you look at 8.6, the original is, now it's going,
That's gonna be 2-3. That's gonna remain.
let's sit down here.
The only thing that's changing, all we gotta do is change 8.7 from 024 to 022.
Okay. Oh, she switched
Yeah.
these on.
I got it.
That's all we're doing.
No, she can't.
That's our two-two.
Okay.
Our two-four is our two-two.
All right,
So
so,
8.7 on your agenda, which reads ordinance 024024.
yeah,
That's gonna be 024022.
she's using that number. All right, you got it, got that summary?
Yeah, you want me to read that one first? I can.
Yes.
Okay.
So do two. Let's keep it in sequence.
Okay, yep. Summary of ordinance 024022, an ordinance overriding the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission's recommendation to amend the Bullitt County City Zoning Order and the Bullitt County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of 0.3772 acres more or less located at West Blue Lick and Sand Dollar Court, lots 2 and 3, in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 036 S000710A, from R3 Residential to B1 Highway Business, sponsored by Councilmember Bonnie Enlow, co-sponsored by Councilmember Jennifer Mendez. Summary. Section 1 sets forth that the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 9, 2024, and recommended that the Bullitt County City Zoning Order and the Bullitt County City Zoning Map be amended to change the zoning of 0.3772 acres located at West Blue Lick and Sand Dollar Court, lots 2 and 3, also known as parcel 036 S000710A, hereinafter subject property from R3 Residential to B1 Highway Business. Section 2 sets forth that the City Council had its own public hearing on June 10, 2024. Section 3 sets forth the findings of facts made by the City Council based upon the testimony and evidence presented at the June 10, 2024 public hearing. Section 4 sets forth the City Council's decision to override the recommendations of the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission. Section 5 sets forth that the Bullitt County City Zoning Order and the Bullitt County City Zoning Map shall not be amended to rezone the subject property. Section 6 sets forth the severability clause. Section 7 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 8 sets forth the publication requirements.
Right, so I want to add a couple thoughts to this. So the gentleman that came here with the development, what he presented to planning and zoning was not what he presented to us here. That's the first thing. Second thing is, he went to planning and zoning and said that the city was going to take care of the water. And that's an absolute no. Just for everybody here in this audience, we don't do that. If you develop it, you're going to move that water, you will put it in that drain, and you'll move it across Blue Lick, and that's what I told him when I met him. So I wanted you all to both know that those two things were facts that were incorrect. So, and I'll say this to the audience here. This council is up here doing a very thoughtful job, and I know residents are concerned about things, but anybody coming into this city hall, you will be professional. That goes for everybody here. We're gonna be professional. We expect that you guys come in, whatever your concerns are, to be able to address us in a way that's gonna make things work. I'm only gonna say that. I'll leave it at that. But those first two things really concerned me, that what he presented to planning and zoning, what he presented here was not right. And in fact, the city does not do that. And it's important to make those statements, because I think it's important. We are trying to partner. We do want to make things work together, but not at our expense. That's your private development. So just want to make sure that was cleared up for you guys. I know the council got a chance to hear an earful last time. All right. I don't know if there's any other questions about this. We're good?
Section 3 has the findings of fact. Did anybody, because now would be the time, if we wanted to add any findings of fact, I think that, you know, Bonnie did a pretty thorough job based on the legal requirements that we have to find, but I didn't know.
Well, what about what Jose has said?
yeah,
Should we
I
put
think
that in
it'd be-
finding of facts that-
We can add it, but I can tell you, based on the law, it's
New one. But
it's
it's just good
irrelevant.
notes. It's just good, if they're good
It's
notes.
irrelevant. The fact that he started out with a storage shed to a flex is also irrelevant. If you go to B1, if you decide,
Yeah,
if city council decides to rezone a property to anything, to residential or to business, let's say you decide to rezone a residential, you can't tell them, but it has to be a $500,000 home and nothing under.
Right.
You either rezone it to residential and they can build whatever house, or you rezone it to B1 and they can put whatever business meets that B1 requirement.
Right.
It's not a
So-
legal thing they did, but it's integrity when he came in.
Right, so he was just making a comment,
Okay.
so it's, because, you know, Bonnie had raised that too, and it's something I think we can certainly talk about, but in terms of the ordinance and in terms of, you know, if we're gonna ever go to court over this, which is what all this is really ultimately about,
Right.
then that's becomes in a part irrelevant. And I know that's difficult to understand, but when you look at the statute, that's the requirements. But I didn't know if there was any other findings of fact. You know, we talked about the school-age children, that being one reason why
That was
the
significant.
rezoning was not
Ken,
appropriate.
I have to add that. That was one thing that stood out to me. I did not know there were 16 kids on that
I
street.
know.
That makes a difference
And
too.
a handicap bus.
And a
goes
handicap-
Yeah, I mean, I mean, once I heard that, I was like, that's a whole different perspective on that. And I will say, that's not
Well,
information
Jennifer
that I
did a
had.
great job on
Yes,
calling and
thank
figuring
you.
that
Yeah.
out.
Thank you.
All right, well,
Thank you for
appreciate it.
doing
Yeah,
that.
it seriously was a game changer because you start checking what that's gonna mean for the safety of the kids there, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
all right, so, on next.
On to the next, okay. Summary of, let me
No.
ask you this. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just gonna let you go.
I do not have a sponsor, so I emailed you guys. So in our property maintenance code, it kind of came to my attention that our penalties could be interpreted, our fines could be interpreted more than one way. And that's just never a good thing for the city. We draft this, it needs to be very clear. If it's not, that's on us, and primarily on me, so, since I drafted it,
So, does everybody understand why we're doing this one? I wanna make sure it's very clear, because, again, you know, we tried to do a lot of things last year. You gotta watch that guy, the mayor, he's always trying to get a bunch of things done. In the process, as we see things that we need to adjust and fix, that's okay. And this was one of the things, the interpretation that she got from talking to two different individuals about how that's collected was the first issue. And then the complexity of putting in something that doubles the taxes if you don't win. And that didn't make sense for us. We're not here to extort money from folks. We want to send the message that we just want you to clean your property. We don't want to confiscate your property, but if there's measures we have to take to get your attention on it, we will, okay? But we wanted to make that table, and Catherine and I talked extensively about this. And I think the thing is that we wanted to do is make sure that it was one way, one table, and everybody understood. You got an offense, one day, 100. You got another offense, it's two offenses for $200 for that day, and then it becomes 400 because you got the same offenses, you just keep accumulating, and that was easy. She put the table together like that for you to understand it. So if you
the
have
table
questions.
seemed to be more confusing. It really was. I mean, people could misinterpret. Some people thought they were supposed to add it across, some people thought they were supposed to add it down, and it was never meant. So in fact, the way that it's written now is actually the way that I had thought it would be interpreted from the very beginning. So in my mind, nothing has changed. All we're doing is
Just clarifying.
clarifying.
Yeah.
And that's why I did examples instead of,
Yeah.
the table. I thought that that would be, clear. So if you
Right.
have, it's basically $100 for
For
every
every
violation,
violation.
for every day. And then, of course, if you've got, as I said, in like the last example, if you clean up, if you've got 4 violations, but on day 4 you clean up one, then guess what? Now on that 4th day, you had 300, not 400, because you
Right.
cleaned up one. So, but I don't have a sponsor.
I'll sponsor it.
Yeah.
I already told Brenda I would.
Yeah, all right.
It don't
Yeah,
matter.
she said it, you didn't hear her.
Yeah, you didn't hear me.
Oh, sorry.
Does the audience understand
Wanna be a
that?
co-sponsor?
We're not
Yeah,
trying to
I
be
can
complicated on fines.
I'll make you a co-sponsor.
We just want to make sure folks know that, we just want to make sure that, we
Okay.
want you.
Get another rubber stamp.
That's okay.
Do what?
Would you just get all of us a rubber stamp?
Rubber stamp.
Okay.
It's been Faith and Paula
No,
did
it's
it,
been Bonnie.
and then Jennifer jumped in. and-
Okay.
All right.
So here we go.
Up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so,
It's getting left out.
all right,
Where's the duct tape?
summary of ordinance 024023, an ordinance amending ordinance 023013 related to the establishment of a property maintenance code in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, sponsored by Councilmember Faith Portman, co-sponsored by Councilman Jennifer Mendez. Summary, Section 1 sets forth that ordinance 023013 is amended as follows. Section 2 sets forth that Section 45 related to penalties is amended as follows. A, violations of this code shall be subject to a civil fine of $100 per violation. Each day that an uncorrected violation of this code occurs is a separate and distinct offense. Example 1, one uncorrected violation is $100 total for the first day, $200 total for the second day, $300 total for the third day, $400 total for the fourth day, etc. Example 2, two uncorrected violations are $200 total for the first day, $400 total for the second day, $600 total for the third day, $800 total for the fourth day, etc. Example 3, 3 uncorrected violations are $300 total for the first day, $600 total for the second day, $900 total for the third day, $1,200 total for the fourth day, etc. Example 4, 3 uncorrected violations are $300 total for the first day, $600 total for the second day. On the third day, if one of the 3 violations has been corrected, then the civil fine on the third day would total $800. $600 for 2 days of 3 uncorrected violations plus $200 for 2 uncorrected violations on day 3 equals $800 for 3 days of uncorrected violations. B, payment of the civil penalty does not relieve the owner or occupant of the requirement to remedy violations of this code. Section 3 sets forth a severability clause. Section 4 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 5 sets forth the publication requirement.
I mean, again, if there's any questions about that, we've got a couple weeks.
So what we're saying is, okay, if they come by Monday and they have a violation, so that's $100. If they come back on Thursday and it's still there, they go back and count Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so that's 4 days.
That's
Okay.
$400.
Just checking.
Yes.
Yep. So, no, that's okay. I mean, like I said, again, I think sometimes the little things like this are just misinterpreted. We just want to clarify.
Right, I was just making sure it wasn't like they were gonna go backwards, it wasn't like they were going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to check. If they come back, they go backwards and retro those
No, ma'am.
violations. Okay.
And the idea, obviously, we try to work with folks on that. We've had a couple different situations where people's finances aren't there, but if you're at least working to get it taken care of, the city's willing to work with you. We don't want your property, we don't want your money like that. We want you to clean your property up, okay?
And before a citation is ever issued, there is a notice, and they can contact and work.
Yes.
So it's not like it's a surprise.
Yeah, no.
It's not like, oh, I got a citation for $100 right off, or however much right off the bat. There's a notice given, and it says you've got this many days, and it says call the code enforcement, and I know that some people have, and they work with them. So, that's really what this is about, so.
All right. All right, so we'll get our next readings on that next time. I do want to mention a couple things before we get into some of these notes here in department heads. I'll go ahead and do it now. I want to make sure that everybody knows, he's not here in the audience today, but Mr. Lane Troutman has given his resignation. He's going to retire officially. He's worked, I think, a gazillion years in the city.
Oh, wow, I hate that.
Yeah, he's actually, and I don't understand the retirement program like everybody does, but I'll say this, you know, when you're still working and you make less money than you would being retired, why would you not do the other one, especially if it's substantial? So he made his decision based on that and wants to do some things and travel and visit some folks. So listen, I think he's done a great job. I think he's done a great job with this fire. We've gone from where it was when he started 13 years ago. Think about it, was 13 years ago, I was on council during that time, and so we were fighting for pennies to make sure he had stuff he needed, and look at today. So we're very proud of the work he's done. We're gonna do some things for him to recognize him for the years out, but I just wanted you all to know that he'll be missed. We'll be working on his replacement. We've got some opportunities with some folks. Some people have been recommended to me. I just want whoever's gonna do is maintain what we've done in our fire department, but also really work with their people, because I think that's the success of the city is when we all work together. And I think that's been a good thing. So I wanted him to be here. He's on vacation. He's on vacation to the rest of his retirement. His last day is actually July 31st.
So he won't be back.
He won't be back. So we're gonna do something for him. We'll bring him and put him on spotlight. We'll embarrass him a little bit.
We need to have him here.
What's that?
At a meeting.
We'll drag him in here is what we're gonna do. No, we'll get him in. We'll get him in. Make an ordinance. So we'll set an ordinance for Troutman to be here. So I wanted you to make sure that you know that. One of the next things I want to bring up real quick is Parks Rec. We actually put out until the end of this week for the Parks Rec position, but I think we overwhelmed them on the job descriptions and underwhelmed them on the pay. So we're working with our human resources that we do have a few applicants in right now, and we're going to extend that. We'll put another one out there with the pay being increased a little bit on that, and really centering in on the responsibilities. But I wanted you to know that because that's going to come to you guys anyway. So I wanted you to kind of see that we're going to keep working. We'd love to see a few more people. This is a very important position. When you start looking at what this position is going to be doing as far as with the city's facilities and dealing with the different entities like the school board, Board of Health, and all the different agencies we're going to be working with to allow them to be part of our community and working with veterans groups could be a part of that, right? We're talking about different things we're going to do. So we want to make sure that that person really can network. That's going to be a big thing. Public relations is a big piece. And we would love to have you have some Park Recs experience.
So let me ask,
Yeah.
where all have we advertised that at?
Well, we done our publication through the newspaper, right? And then we did Indeed, but there's a thing with the HR, they're actually gonna assist us with that.
Okay.
Well, and Amber will we'll put it out there. And again, we
Yeah,
want
I
people to
shared
know,
it.
we want many people, because the more people that you have, a little bit of extra work, but we might find that one person that's gonna really fit that. So, as Park Rec positions, our goal is really, by January 1, we have somebody in place that can start really being involved with, watching the aquatic center being built, and the amphitheater, and the playgrounds and stuff, and then the different things that we got going on in the skate park. So it's gonna be important that comes up there. And the last thing I just wanna bring up real quick for you guys, it's gonna be extremely hot Friday and Saturday. It's in the 90s. It's gonna be, I didn't see any rain.
Saturday.
All right, I didn't see any rain on this thing. That's why I looked at it real quick.
This morning.
Okay, well, I pulled it up right now, but I only reason why I say that is because it's gonna be extremely hot, but it's gonna be extremely busy. And we're telling everybody, Amber put some stuff out about this weekend. Please be in mind, if you are physically fit and you can park a little further away, please do so. We're trying to do much. We do have golf carts. We're gonna assist people getting in and out, so we get them to their cars. You gotta bear with us there. And I'm gonna say this out loud, this goes everywhere. Please be patient. We are going to have free rides. Do you know the kind of outcome we're gonna have Friday and Saturday? It's going to be busy. And because of that busyness, we've actually added a couple more activities for some of the smaller kids to be involved while folks are standing in line. But I know it's gonna be a great weekend, and I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for the city. But I want you all to know that it's gonna be very busy and very hot, so please make sure that you keep all that in mind and drink lots of fluids, maybe more water and other things, but that goes to me too. But anyway, I just want to tell you, it's gonna be a great weekend, and we're excited about it. But I want everybody to be there and enjoy a little bit of it, however you can, how much you can. But thank you for that. All right, we don't have executive session. Do we have anything that we're good there? All right. No planning and zoning. I have nothing. I have not heard back from Board of Adjustments, like I said with Jeremy. Department heads, we got Mr. Steve. Do you have anything you want to share with us this evening?
Just a few, just real quick.
Huh?
Come on up.
Come on up. I hate standing up there because it's like I look at you all, my back's to everybody. Like, oh,
Well, you can look at them if you want. Go look at them. Gotta stand right there. You can stand right.
You can stand far away.
Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. One is the email I sent out to all of you all about who to call and all that. By no means take that, and I don't want y'all to call me, because I think I've talked to all of y'all at some time over something. This is just if you need an immediate response, please call the Fulton County Dispatch Center, because they can get you all or your constituent a lot quicker. If it's something that doesn't need an immediate response, call me. Because just sometimes, like one of the calls, I was getting ready to cut my grass, it takes me about an hour. If somebody needed something, I don't want y'all waiting for an hour. So that's why I sent it out. But
You
always
cut
welcome to
grass?
Call me. Huh?
You cut grass?
Heck, yeah.
Okay.
I don't get this farmer hand or being. Yeah, so just, y'all always call me, y'all know 24/7, y'all can get a hold of me. The other one, I would be remiss, Perry, thank you for bringing about the 123rd out at Stanfordville. My nephew, Jason, just retired after 24 years of
Oh,
flying.
cool.
And my neighbor, Travis, was a navigator on for 23 years.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
So I put
Thank
that
you,
on.
sir.
y'all.
That's
Y'all
awesome.
watch the-
No, that's
the
awesome.
meeting. So, other than that, we're just getting ready, for, this weekend, and some of the things, like I said, I hate to say this, it sounds like coming from Louisville or Thunder, obviously it's not gonna be anything like that, but it's gonna be patience because of the parking issues this year. It's kinda gonna throw everything we're doing off, which basically we had to throw our plans out the window, and we're gonna kind of, do some of it on the fly and see how things work Friday, and then hopefully by Saturday we'll have it worked out. So just be patient, it's gonna be hot out there, but last year was my first one, I think everybody had a good time, we learned some stuff. We're gonna have more officers out there on Saturday, I just expected with the crowd and with the traffic outflow, so just wanted to make y'all aware like the mayor did. And then, really the last thing, I texted Lane and said, hey, where you at? I know you're leaving, but you gotta make some of them, and I can't really say what he said in response, so we'll just leave it at that. But I wanted to thank the fire department also. A lot of people will probably show y'all later, I don't want to steal your thunder about the weight room, but they really went up there and redid the weight room upstairs.
Huh?
And I think they got it on grant. I'm not keen on the color, and I've told y'all that, but.
I need to go up
it's,
there. I haven't been up there yet.
They have put a lot of work and effort into it.
Yeah.
And, everybody in this building is gonna be able to use it. And I just want to publicly thank them, because they've done a lot of work up there, and I believe they got the equipment on a grant or donated, which is quite a bit. So thank you to them. Just, as we always say, we're saving, people's money. We had, highway department come by the other day, and because of, I think, some of our records we kept, they basically gave us $3,000 worth of PPEs that we don't have to buy, so, you know, we're looking to save money.
Everything counts.
So,
Everything counts.
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 vests, you know, going down the road that we can buy with that, so that's how we look at things. We do see where we can save that cost.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The volume's gonna be there, like I said, and there's plenty so we have property behind the old post office, the community center and all this places right there. There'll be parking there if you wanna walk a block or two, depending who you are, and depending what time you come, it's gonna be hot. Oh, Brian, don't go anywhere.
Prison break.
Oh, yeah. No, if it's a prison break, go. All right, so just before he leaves, thank you, Chief. I just wanna make sure you know, so 7 o'clock Friday night, you get the joy of putting that guy in the water. So, and again, all the proceeds are gonna go for.
Every single person try to duck me.
All right, so I'm
challenging everybody.
all right, I'm just telling you, I'm 6 o'clock, you're 7 o'clock.
More money than you.
All right, all right, so I'll be there at 6 o'clock, you be there at 7.
On Facebook, I want everybody to try to duck me Friday night.
All right.
No
They put it-
mosquitoes.
2 days later.
No, but hey, Brian, thank you, we'll have a good time.
No, you did a great job, thank you.
Thank you, Brian, appreciate it, buddy. All right, gentlemen, you two guys wanna come up together, or you gonna come up, one of you gonna speak about, come on up here.
I say, I'm just gonna repeat what you said, Chief Schmidt said, with Chief Trumpet's retirement, we have to just, congratulate him. He's earned it, I think. In total, he's got 34 years in, so
34,
a lot longer.
that's amazing.
What most stay around. The weight room, that was Sergeant Estes, so if you happen to see him around, he put in a lot of work.
You guys have done some really cool stuff.
Turned out really well, so that'll be a good thing for everybody that they're happy with anything.
I wanna make sure you all know, between the two of you here and the other two fellows here, and we have Butch, so we have about 5-headed monsters that are gonna be kinda taking care of things in our day-to-day operations, okay? That's what it's gonna be, we're not gonna make a quick decision. I've had some references on some folks, and anybody that's obviously in the command staff that's interested, we'll be glad to sit down and talk to you, but, we obviously just wanna make the best decision for the city, and that's no offense of other people, but we got some good people that are interested, and hopefully there's some others, and we'll try to make a good decision for you guys, okay? But I appreciate all you do, but thank you very much, appreciate it. I know Tom was finishing up, he wasn't here today, and we don't have that. Miss Brenda.
First, I want to commend Miss Laminating for the hard work they put into this counter. They really, really got into a mess when they got into it. And they are coming back to finish stuff.
So what do you guys think? Do you like it? Willie, what do you think back here? You think we're a little more nice up here with this new? All right, I got a thumbs up from Willie, we're good. David back here, you think we look?
My wife just
thumbs
told
up?
me to wake up.
She's told you. Gosh, never get away with that one. All right, well, anyway, listen, we hope you like it. All right, so, we have some council members here. All right, Miss Paula, I was going to go that way, but Miss Bonnie?
I don't have anything.
All right, uh-oh. All right, Brad?
Just one thing. I had some inquiries about the speed bumps that were installed on North Maple. When were those installed and what was the process for
The process was everybody that on that street, and just so you know, for city streets, if everybody on the street signs it that they want them, we help put them on the streets. We had that happen in 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue, out there in the Salt River area. They wanted, all the neighbors signed it. I had, I can't think of this guy's name, went blank. He brought me the list of everybody here. We put them in there. Now, the people that don't, and the reason why those people want them there is because they got tired of mailboxes being run over, and they have kids playing on the streets, and we said, no, and we'll do that at any street, but obviously, everybody has to, be understanding that, we need you to, if you want it, we'll put it in there, it's a cost.
But they don't
For
clear
us.
the roads.
Well, so what happens on that's a very good point, what happens is those become roads that they have to be careful when they do any kind of snow plowing. But we're trying not to put them in every road, but we can't have some of these roads where they can go straight back like that at 50, 55 miles an hour. And I know that I've been throughout the city. So, we've seen that, and so obviously, that is one of the solutions, obviously, we're just trying to get people from, endangering kids. We talked about the one street with 16 kids.
And really, they're not against the speed control, but have we ever explored using the more gradual humps versus the smaller bumps? Because what it creates is, cars bouncing and scraping and things like that.
Have you ever watched most people go over the railroad tracks? Even I know that they're, even as bad as they were, people still flying over it. That's what you see. So we really are trying in an area like that. Cause you go back through there, you got that, you got the church, right? You go back a little further back. So that was the concern, and they requested that. So again, we'll put the type of speed bump if we want to slow it down, but we just want you to know, we just don't want people getting hurt. I mean, and everybody's in a hurry, I get it, but no. So if they requested, and they get all the signatures, I've got them in my file in the office. And that's why, and he was adamant, he had called me, like, I said, look, this is how it works, I gave him the process, and he came in here and brought the signatures.
Yeah, I mean, and questions came more from people back on Arrowhead that used that to get to like the garden home area, and they're like, you know, we're not necessarily against it, we just wish it was something a little more gradual that didn't.
No, I get that, but I get it, just a request from those, you can get different types of speed bumps, he really wanted, because, I mean, I think they knocked his mailbox over about 6 times. How was your vacation? You know, teach everybody how to scuba diving? He's gonna start classes for everybody. He's been going about twice a month.
I'm not, but I have colleagues that will, so.
Thank you, Miss Jennifer?
I just wanna say thank you to everybody who sent me texts the last meeting when I got sick and had to leave, so thank you, everybody.
You doing good?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let me have it to you. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Thank you, Miss Jennifer. Miss Faith, what you got?
Well, I'm gonna beat a dead horse here.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanna know, do we have any plans about the splash pad in the park that I worked on in 2020? I just wanna know, is it ever gonna get put up?
Okay, you know what it's part of, right? You've seen all the
I
designs?
do, but this is getting ridiculous. I mean, 4 years to
Okay,
get a
so-
splash pad put up?
So wait a minute, slow down.
Can't
so-
run the line through there
You
just so we
can't,
can?
what, just put the splash pad before we finish the pickleball courts and everything else that goes with it?
It should have already been done, my personal
Okay,
opinion.
I have
I
no-
know that a lot of people don't like it,
Faith,
but,
I get that. I just wanna make sure
but
that
I
you're,
thought we were waiting on the line. Is that, and
the line
that's
goes.
what I was told before.
You are going, it goes in with the playground. You've seen all the schematics of that? It
Yeah.
goes with the playground.
So now
with
it's
the
not gonna
splash
get
pad.
done for another year, 2?
I would say, no, it won't be 2 years. It'll probably be next summer.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna hold
again,
you to that.
You go ahead, but the reason why
Next
it's
summer.
not done, you know that too. It's not.
No, I
anything-
really
we
don't.
have, well, obviously, it's not anything that this administration's done. I will say that to
It
anybody.
wasn't the last one either. Everything was finished.
Well, why didn't it get done?
Don't ask me, it got stopped.
Okay, I didn't.
I wasn't the mayor.
Hang on.
I would have, it would have been done.
Well, that's the
It
point.
wouldn't have got done if I hadn't went for it anyways, right, Bonnie? I went above and beyond and
I think
did
it's
a
a
job
shame
that
that it's
wasn't
not
even
done.
mine.
I have
you
no
know.
disagreements why it's not done, but I think at this point, it's gotta fit into the rest of the development that's gonna be over there now. It's
Well,
unfortunate.
I'd like to see it in my time on council. I hope I get another term.
Well, you know, it's actually gonna be 2 years that the last thing to be done is the aquatic center, that'll be late summer of 2026. Everything else before that.
Well, I just want to see my splash pad put
Park
in.
will be done before.
So you're gonna have, you'll have everything that, it's the late summer is the aquatic center, that's the 2 years to that. You're looking at the sequence of that, unless it looks at the finances as far as keeps growing on materials, but really right now, we're looking good on everything as far as the amphitheater, the playground. And if you look at the sequence on that side with the dog park, that's gonna be on that side before you bend the road. And listen, I don't disagree.
And I'm not taking it out on you.
Oh, no, I get it. No,
But
no,
it
I
had
get
nothing to do with the employees in the last administration.
Oh,
It was
no,
the
no, no,
last
no, no, no,
administration
No, that's
for
not.
some reason.
That's the point. That wasn't directed
And
at you as well.
that's really heartbreaking, you know, because I put a lot of time, Tom and I put a lot of time into that.
The unfortunate part of the things that have happened, we can't change. But what we can do is move forward and make things better. And I think we're gonna be able to do that. And I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, I hear your frustration. It, you know, I
It is
saw.
frustrating, it really is.
Absolutely.
You know, it is.
Yeah, well,
But I'm
no
not taking
worries.
it out on you. And that's all I have.
All right. It's all good. It's all good. Mike, what do you got?
Oh, I never really plan a lot up front, but.
What?
You know, tonight I brought up some points and, you know, years ago, you know, as I said, it's not the person, it's the process. And years ago, while on council, I learned of the difference between may and shall.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things written up that says a mayor or someone may do this. And they may not. And the shall pretty well sets it to where, you know, what it wants to be.
Is that concerning any particular topic?
Pardon?
Is that pertaining to any
No,
particular?
just in general.
Okay.
Just in general. The most handcuffs we can put on you, the better I think it is. But,
You go right ahead, sir.
no. I mean, we all see it. If you look at our federal government, we have laws,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and then another administration comes in, and all of a sudden, the enforcement of those laws take a 180, you know, drastically different, even if it's a shell, I think. So they're not paying much attention. But I did have one item here that I had some contact with a lady that I met at a funeral by chance, and I went to their home and looked, and she has an issue, as several homes do, at the rear of Lee Street, which abuts our Public Works building back there. So there's a metal fence there that has leaned over, you know, into most of their property, but it's the overgrowth, shrubbery and such. And she even says, I was there, she says, don't get in there, there's poison ivy in there. Her dog runs in there and comes out, and she's afraid to pet it because he'll get poison ivy and such. But I'm simply saying that is something that maybe I think we ought to take a look at, either fixing or removing, one of the two. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, well, that's okay. The first thing is get it to Tom. Make sure
Okay.
Tom and I just email me and Tom that address and stuff, and they'll take care of it. What they'll do is they'll do something temporarily, because you know that's the new entrance to the park, right?
Right.
Okay. Because what they'll do is they'll fix all it, because when you come in down Lee, we're gonna put basketball courts on both sides. So when you come in on Lee Street, they'll have it there. Pickleball will be over the other side of the old pavilion on Frankie Simon. So pickleball courts, gaga ball, splash pad, playground, and then it gets into a little area, then the what I call maintenance building and restrooms. We have our ARPA money. The
Right.
ARPA money is going for that building. And so what we have to do, and I talked to Scott already, we are actually going to make sure that we get that money allocated and bidded before December 31st. We cannot lose that $2.2 million, and that's not gonna happen. So I'll let you know as soon as I talked to Scott the other day, and we're gonna see if we can get some line items on that, so you guys can know
Okay.
to see that. Again, it goes into the general contractor, Hagerman, they're gonna be doing all that. It's kinda nice to have one person we can make all the contact with.
Right.
All right,
I want to thank Scott Fleming, you know, for pursuing the railroad crossing there. And as you said, I thought that they were going to move
We called
right
them,
from
we
one to the
called,
other,
we
so, you know, that's yet to be seen. But as far as tonight, you know, Bonnie said that he had texted in, made a clarification on this bidding and such. And I know, I appreciate you calling in, Scott. I know you're by your pool drinking pina coladas, but I do appreciate the time to take to address the council here tonight, so. That's all I have.
Mike, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Paula.
I don't have anything.
All right. Catherine would like to say something.
So last week, I got a call from attorney Nick Pregliasco, who represents the Hallett Estate and Clinton Klein.
Yes.
And he informed me that his clients no longer wish to pursue the appeal. This was off their voicemail, so he was asking, you know, do we do file something for motion now or do an agreed order? I called him back, left him a voicemail saying we can just do agreed order of dismissal. So got that today, got it all situated, and that was filed today, so it'll just have to be entered by the judge, so.
I know, see, I was gonna say,
It
'cause
was,
you two,
it was an agreed order of
Which, I mean,
dismissal with prejudice, which means it can't come back. I wasn't able to talk to the attorney, I don't know what changed their minds. I will say that I think they have to wait 2 years, and I'm sure his 2 years is coming up in
on the
December.
planning and zoning? No, I
2
think it's
years?
only 1 year.
Is it 1 year?
1 year on the docket, it's 1 year.
Okay, so I don't know if was trying to, see if he was thinking about bringing it back, or if he just moved on, I have no idea. I have no idea, I just know that the, appeal, the lawsuit, is not gonna be pursued by them, and as soon as I get the agreed order.
His year's coming up.
Yeah, as soon as I get well, it's passed, actually, I thought it was 2 years, but, the agreed order of dismissal, as soon as it's, you know, entered and finalized, I'll keep you guys posted, just so you know, cause that'll just be entered by the judge, and so, when let you know.
Got a big smile from Bonnie, I like it. And I think the biggest thing even with that is the fact that, you know, we're asking when these developments come in, we are paying more attention. I mean, this is more that, you start to see it more in the last few years, that more city councils are starting to really pay attention to what's being developed, because you can look at Shepherdsville and see some things, how to get built like that, right? We all can see that when we drive around, like, who did that? So obviously, I do appreciate what you guys do, all the legwork, Jennifer, again, with that Sand Dollar Street, that was really important. Bonnie, you did some good work with that as well. So you guys just keep us posted on things like that. We're gonna make a good decision. We want good things to happen. We got a lot of good things coming down the pike. We did finish Conestoga and Adam Shepherd. If you haven't seen that turn, we got that all cleaned up nicely. And we're looking at more things like that. You know, we're trying to make sure that we get the roads fixed too. I know everybody's that, and drainage. I forgot about drainage. All right, but anyway, so make sure you all know that. But anyway, if that's said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
And the guy. All right.
Okay. And
All right.
nobody challenged you. Awesome.
Look, this is gonna, I thought you were gonna challenge him.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Mike?
It's pointless.
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Faith?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
It's not like he's quick. You just gotta jump right in there real quick and jump in there real quick.
Well,
You all have a,
Paula's getting as quick as hell.
yeah, this side was quick today. I'm not sure. Hey, Bonnie started out really quick when we first started the meeting, and then it went to this side.
Okay. I didn't realize, I didn't even
Hey, so I will keep you up on what she told you earlier.
Yeah,
I'll
since
find
it
out. I'll
wasn't
find out.
right,
I know that we talked about it. Does that help you? Because, tell her that, and I'll tell you why, because